Today we got some random My Story animated other type shit. So yeah, we're gonna be watching this one where this teacher gets this girl pregnant, and apparently it's someone's fault. I don't really know. All I know is we're gonna be watching it.
I was 19 and about to graduate from high school. But then my math teacher, Mr. Cumberbatch, told me I'd failed his class and would have to repeat the year. I was devastated because I had already made plans to go to college.
It's specific, but wouldn't they have checked your fucking grades if you're going to college? Like, how dumb are you? And whose name is Cumberbatch? Like, honest to God, like, on God, what the hell is going on in this damn story? These Russians need to get help. I swear to God.
So I started crying and begged him to show mercy and let me pass. But he said, no, and shook his head. In a last attempt, I gave him a big hug and said, "Please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there anything I can do?" He pushed me away and said, "No, it's too late now." But I showed persistence and kept begging him, saying, "Please, please, please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there anything I can do for you?" Finally, he had a change of heart and wrote down an address on a paper and said, "Okay, come here on Saturday."
I took her to my penthouse and I freaked it. I haven't made my mind up, should I keep it? I got big dog status, it ain't no secret.
Saturday, 6 p.m. We will do some math exercises, and if you do well, I will change your grade and let you pass.
How is your grade supposed to go from an A to an F in like 2 seconds?
I gave him one last hug and said, "Thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch. You are the best."
I went on Pornhub and I had a three-way with their wife and their dog and their sister and their cow and everyone. It was like the entire family reunion. My favorite part of family reunions is getting fricked.
When Saturday arrived, I was very nervous. I didn't know if I was going on a date or if I was getting a private math lesson.
I don't understand this one. She wants the teacher, Mr. Cumberbatch, but who wants to be named after cum in a batch? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
But just to be sure, I dressed myself up. I put on my old school uniform, but made a few changes to look as exciting as possible.
Not sure where this is supposed to be at, but at the same time, I know in America we don't have school uniforms. So if this is any other country, let me know, because I am not totally sure if this part's fake, but I can assure you the entire story's.
When I arrived at his house, he opened the door and said, "Come in, you're looking..."
It's time to frick.
19, and he was only 10 years older than me. What turned me on the most was the authority he had over me. He could decide whether I would pass the year or...
Vacuum the teacher, I would at least want an A plus too. It makes sense. Like, I would want an A plus for sucking off the teacher.
or repeat it. At one point, I just stared into his eyes and hoped he would kiss me. But I guess he was too nervous. So instead, I kissed him. And he liked it. Kissing my high school teacher wasn't technically illegal, but we still broke the rules of our school. A teacher-student relationship was strictly prohibited, but that's what made it so exciting. When we said goodbye to each other, I asked him if I had studied enough to pass the year, and he said, "You have worked very hard today, and therefore I will let you pass." I said, "Thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch," and gave him one more kiss on his mouth. This might shock you, but it was my first time. And because of my inexperience, I forgot to
So here's where the story picks up. Basically, they frick and she finds out she's pregnant.
tell him to use protection. So 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't mind, though, because I really liked Mr. Cumberbatch. The next day, I went up to him at school to tell him about the baby. I secretly hoped we would become a couple. But when he heard the news, he got angry.
Fucks her high school teacher. She gets pregnant, and now she's mad that the teacher doesn't want anything to do with it. But, alright, so that's all I have to say there, so let's keep going.
And said, "You will go to the pharmacy right now and get the pill."
Question and one question only. They just said that they fricked 2 weeks ago. How the hell is the morning after pill gonna work, you dumb teacher man? What in the actual fuck are you thinking? You're dumber than this woman. Mr. I'ma suck a dude off and get on Pornhub Live. Pornhub Live for an A+, Mr. Cumberbatch. Come on me. Oh, yes.
I didn't like the way he talked to me. This was my body and therefore my decision. I asked him if he was interested in raising the baby with me, but he freaked out and screamed, "I already have a wife and kid. I'll never take care of your stupid baby."
Teachers watching, don't frick your students. Lessons to all students watching, don't frick your teacher. Like, comment, subscribe. Platinum Mario out. If you don't like, you're retarded.